Welcome to the Nascar Authentic Hot Wheels Cup Series Season 2 information video. In this video, I'll be telling you all the information you'll need to know about this season and how you guys can get a shout out. First, let's talk about the race format. It'll be pretty much the same as last season, but with a few changes. 4 segments of 8 cars will race against each other. The winner will get 1 playoff point and will move on to the final stage. Cars who finish second and third in their segments will move on to the Challenger race, formerly known as the seconds and thirds race. The top 4 of those will move on to the final stage with the 4 segment winners. Then the cars who finished 4th and 5th, plus the highest 2 qualifiers, who finished 6th and 8th in the segment races, move on to the Constellation race, formerly the 4th and 5th race. Top 2 will move on to the Challenger race. And all the races will be 4 laps, except the Coke 600, which all the races will be 6 laps. Now let's talk about the point system, which hasn't changed much. There's just a few minor details that have been changed. So all the drivers will compete for points throughout the season and try to make it into the top 12 at the end of the regular season to make it into the playoffs. Playoff points will be awarded the same way they were last season: 1 playoff point for the segment win and 5 playoff points for a regular win. So the only difference in the point system is that first place will get 35, second place will get 30, third will get 27, and then it will go decrease by 1 all the way to 29th, where then all 29 through 32 will get at least 1 point. Now let's take a look at your full-time driver lineup. There will be 29 drivers who compete full-time and will race in every race this season. First up, we have your champion from last season, Jimmie Johnson. He was also the winner at Las Vegas and Bristol. Next up is your points runner-up from last season is Austin Dillon from Richard Childress Racing. He was your winner at Michigan and had the most poles last season. Next up, the driver finished 3rd last season in the discount tire number 2 car is Brad Keselowski. He was your Daytona 500 and the Charlotte Roval winner. Next up is Daniel Suarez. He finished 4th in the points last season and was a winner at Kansas. He got kicked out of the 41 car from Stewart-Haas Racing and now will compete full-time in the 35 car for North Star Racing this season. Next up, the driver finished 5th in points last season in the PPG Paints number 12 car from Team Penske. It is Brian Blaney. He was the winner at Phoenix last season. Next up, in the Oscar Mayer number 6 Ford Mustang for Roush Fenway Racing, it is Ryan Newman. He won the most races last season with 3, winning at Northville City, Charlotte, and Indianapolis. Next up, the driver who was in the number 8 car last season, it is Daniel Hemrick. He moves over to the 31 car for Richard Childress Racing. He was your winner at Talladega last season. Next up, in the Shell Pennzoil Mustang for Team Penske, it is Joey Logano. He's looking for his first win in the Nascar Authentic Hot Wheels Cup Series this season. Next up, in the Rush Truck Centers number 14 Ford Mustang from Stewart-Haas Racing, it is Clint Boyer. He was the winner in the final race last season at Homestead, Miami. Next up, in the number 88 Valvoline Chevy Camaro for Hendrick Motorsports, it is Alex Bowman. He was the winner at Martinsville and led every lap in that race. Up next, in the number 81 car from Summit City Racing, it is Eddie Gallagher. He managed to make it into the playoffs, but only was eliminated in the first round. Up next, in the number 24 Liberty University Chevy Camaro for Hendrick Motorsports, it is William Byron. He's hoping for better results this season after missing out on the playoffs. Next, in the number 9 Napa Auto Parts Camaro from Hendrick Motorsports is the 9 of Chase Elliott. In the number 19 Auto Owners Insurance Toyota Camry, it is Martin Truex Jr. He's hoping to lead Toyota back to the front after Toyota having a terrible year last season. Up next, in the number 10 Smithfield Ford Mustang from Stewart-Haas Racing, it is Eric Almirola. He's hoping to join his teammate Clint Boyer in the playoffs this season. Next up, in the number 18 M&M's Camry from Joe Gibbs Racing, it is Kyle Busch. He had a really rough season last year and is hoping to do better this season. Up next, in the number 28 Mahalo Coffee Roasters car from Summit City Racing, it is Joseph West. He's hoping for a better season as well. Next up, we have the 11 car of Denny Hamlin. He's another driver who is hoping to try to get a better result than he has had last season. Then we have the 1 car of Kurt Busch. He was really slow compared to his other teammate Kyle Larson at the time. He's hoping for better results this season. Eric Jones in the number 20 DeWalt Toyota Camry for Joe Gibbs Racing is next. He is also hoping to join the Toyotas and finally try to make it into the playoffs. Up next is the 4 car of Kevin Harvick. He's looking to bounce back after a rough year last season, with his best finish being 4th at the Charlotte Roval. Could he possibly get a better result this season? Next up, in the 21 Ford Motorcraft Quick Lane car from the Wood Brothers, it is Matt DiBenedetto. He moves over from the 95 to the 21, hoping for better results this season. Next up, in the Aftershocks, number 43 Chevy Camaro from Richard Petty Racing, it is Bubba Wallace. He is hoping to bounce back after being one of the drivers who was near the bottom in the standings last season. Making a one-off start in the 08 car at Daytona is Paul Menard. He will make his final appearance in the NASCAR Authentics Hot Wheels Cup Series at Daytona. Then Kyle Larson will pilot the 08 for the rest of this season. Now here are the drivers who did not compete last season. In the number 42 car for Chip Ganassi Racing, it is Matt Kenseth replacing Kyle Larson. In the number 17 car for Roush Fenway Racing, it is Chris Buescher replacing Ricky Stenhouse Jr. in the Fifth Bank number 17 car. Now we move over to your rookie drivers. In the number 41 Haas Automotive's Ford Mustang for Stewart-Haas Racing, it is Cole Custer. The number 8 Chevy Camaro Caterpillar car, it is Tyler Reddick. And your final driver in the number 95 Rheem car for Levine Family Racing, it is Christopher Bell. So those are your 29 full-time cars that will compete this season. Now we'll move over to your open driver lineup. These are cars who will either compete part-time or will compete without a charter. In the number 37 JT DeJourney Busch Beans car, it is Ricky Stenhouse Jr. In the number 40 Advent Health car from Spire Motorsports, it is Ross Chastain. In the number 38 Sithgard Ford Mustang from Front Row Motorsports, it will be John Hunter Nemechek, who will also contend for Rookie of the Year. Now we move to your part-time cars who will compete part-time for this season. In the 01 car for the Daytona 500 will be Kyle Larson. He will move over to the 08 after Daytona and take that car full-time. Colleague Racing will make their debut this season in partnership with Stewart-Haas Racing. They will race part-time with Justin Haley, who will run the 500 and a few other races, AJ Allmendinger, who will run the road courses, and Chase Briscoe, who will run 3 races this season. Rick Rowe Racing will make their debut in the number 7 with Joey Gase for the Daytona 500. They will also attempt to make other races with JJ Yaley and Garrett Smithley. Furniture Row Racing in the number 78 car will attempt to race in both superspeedway races this season. Kiko Moon will drive for them in the Daytona 500. And finally, Ty Dillon in the number 13 Germain Racing car. Not much is certain for them, but they will race in the Daytona 500. So now that's taken care of, we'll talk about shoutouts for this season. Now there will be 2 ways to get a shoutout, being the pace car driver or being the title sponsor for a race. Pace car driver will be the same as last season, where if you comment in the video, then you might be picked to be the pace car driver. And to be a title sponsor, there will be a Google form in the description below, and you just have to fill that out. But you have to have a YouTube channel to become a title sponsor. Now here's the schedule that will be run for Season 2 of the NASCAR Authentics Hot Wheels Cup Series. We will start things off with Daytona Speedways, the Daytona 500, the Daytona Clash, and the Daytona Duels. The Daytona 500 will be the only race that qualifying will be recorded for. Then we will do the Daytona 500, then we'll head to Las Vegas, we'll head to Auto Club, Phoenix, and then Northville City. And then after that, it will be the All-Star race in Charlotte. Then it will be the Coke 600 at Charlotte, then a doubleheader weekend at Dover, a new racetrack at Horseshoe Bend, then at Watkins Glen, and then Indianapolis to round out the regular season. Then we'll do the round of 12 playoffs. It will be Darlington, Bristol, and Talladega. The round of 8, which will be the Charlotte Roval, Texas, and Martinsville. Then the final 4, the final race, will be at Homestead, Miami. Now before we end this video, let's talk about the drivers who are eligible for the Clash. There will be 18 drivers who are eligible from the Clash. Each of them were picked because they won a segment in last season. It'll be Austin Dillon, Daniel Suarez, Kyle Larson, Ryan Blaney, Jimmy Johnson, Ryan Newman, Brad Keselowski, Alex Bowman, Daniel Hemrick, Clint Boyer, Joey Logano, Eddie Gallagher, Chase Elliott, Denny Hamlin, Ricky Stenhouse Jr., Martin Truex Jr., Eric Jones, and William Byron. Those are your drivers who are eligible for the Clash, and the winner of the Clash will gain 5 playoff points and 5 regular season points. So that is all for the NASCAR Authentics Hot Wheels Cup Series Season 2 preview video. And so Daytona should be coming out in a few weeks. So I'm North, and I'll see you at Daytona.